All right, so good evening there, Karen, Michaela. Thanks for being here. I'm going to start today's class. Also, sorry for the lateness. I was just finishing the class with the previous course. All right, but how are you girls? How do you feel today? Is everything okay?
Hello, teacher. Hello, Karen. It's okay. Today was a good day.
Great. That's great to know, Michaela. Thanks for letting us know. Thank you. What about you, Karen? How do you feel today?
Hi, teacher. Hi, Michaela. Good evening. I'm fine too.
Good. That's good. Great, great, Karen. So let's start then with the class, please, with you two, actually with you three now, and we're going to continue working. I'm just going to give you the reminder, right? This Thursday, we are not going to have our conversation. And remember that instead of Thursday, we are going to use Wednesday, right? Next week, Wednesday the 2nd, to have the 15-minute conversation. All right. So the time that you are going to schedule here is the time that you're going to be using to join on Wednesday next week. Okay. This is not for this Wednesday, it's for next Wednesday, the one that we are going to use to compensate for that conversation. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to do, as we do every beginning right of the unit, is working with Pearson. I am going to assign the next unit plus the next quiz, and everything should be done with that. Remember that one more time, it is going to be until Friday and the quiz until Sunday, right? It doesn't change, it's the same. If you have questions about Pearson, right, you were having some doubts, remember, please, my recommendation, try to take screenshots as you are taking your quizzes. Try to, if you don't understand, right, one of the assignments, try to take it only once. And if it was really confusing, right, for you, you can let me know, as I believe that we did with you, Karen, or with some of you as well. Why? Because it's better that you tell me and I can explain that to you, because not all the instructions are going to be clear. Even when I read them, it's like, it's not clear, right? So in case that happens, let me know so I can help you understand the instruction in a better way. We can verify how it is going to work, and then you can take it once again. All right, but take that into consideration, please, taking screenshots and using technology on your side. So this is unit 3. First, only the assignments. Remember, all of you have access to it. And it is going to be until Friday the 28th and 11:59 p.m., right? The usual. You have 2 attempts per assignment plus a model. And now the same with the quiz. All right, so actually it is here. And this is the review quiz. And as always, this will start on Friday. Okay, the starting day, Friday. Remember, as you finish the class with me, so 9:25 more or less. And the due date, Sunday, 11:59 p.m. All right, 15 minutes. This is the third quiz. And there you go. Okay, so that's everything regarding the platform. If you have questions about it or any doubts, you let me know so that we can continue with our class. No? All right. Let's get then to the first part of today's unit. And actually, again, we're going to work on the pending activity that we got if we get to finish everything on time. All right. Let me see. Good. So we finished with relative clauses. You practice even things that you, well, you shouldn't have practiced there, but we did because it's important to see the difference between subject relative clauses and object relative clauses. And now we're going to go to future conditional. All right. And this is very simple. So I believe that today we're going to work on the debate I told you about, girls. On Friday we were supposed to work on that one, but because of the time we couldn't. So today we have this very simple lesson, and we're going to take advantage of today's time then to finish the lesson and to work on the debate. All right, but let's understand this together, please. I am going to ask you this question, Lucia. Lucia, what comes to your mind when you read future conditional, or what do you know about it?
Teacher is the same as the first conditional. Yes, right?
Yes, exactly. There are many names, and even the first conditional, you have types and variations. But yes, it is. What do you know about that one? What do you know about the first conditional?
It's like absolute truth, truth. Yeah.
Okay.
For
good.
example, for scientific facts or something that always is going to be that always we know about the result. Yeah, and we have proofs to verify this.
Good, good. And there are two types of conditional that can fit the first conditional type. Sometimes they call it the second one, but actually it's also the first, Lucia, because it's the real conditional, right? This is real conditional. But there are two types. What is the one that you know? For example, what do you need to form the first conditional when talking about scientific truth, Lucia?
Also, they call the zero conditional, right?
Yes, there are many possible names to call it, exactly. And the 01, it's going to be the one used with one tense in both cases. This is going to be something a little bit less precise, that is going to include another tense that is different from the first one. So I don't know, what do you know about that?
That, for example, like the formula or something like that?
Yeah, you can give me a formula or you can give me an example directly.
Yeah, directly an example. For example, if you go to the typical, if you study for the test, you are going to success. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, kind of.
Oh, it's great. Just one word. Remember, if you say success, success is more like the noun, right? That was a success. But remember that the verb for that one is going to be succeed. All right, succeed. So you can say you're going to succeed, or you can say you're going to be successful, or your life is going to be a success, right? So it's a success, successful, and to succeed in the case you want to use a verb. Okay, just that one, Lucia. I believe the example is great. How do you change that to a negative one? The same idea.
Like, yeah, with the first clause is if you don't study for the exam, you're not gonna succeed.
Succeed. Great, exactly. That's it. Thank you, Lucia. That's it for the introduction. Good. There you go. So that is one type of conditional that is very, very simple. We are going to get to see more complex conditional forms, and actually this is very, very basic, but I believe that it's important that you understand this conditional before going to other more complex types of conditional. In the second type, you can have an unreal conditional, and in unreal conditional, you see past perfect. And to use past perfect, again, you need to feel comfortable with this one first, so that you go and work with the unreal conditional. So, as Lucia explained very well, and the example that she gave us also was very, very clarifying, you can see that in this question, you have a condition that is implied. So the question is going to be for you, please, Karen. Read the question and give me the answer for the question as well, please.
Okay. What will happen if you don't study for the test? Okay. Maybe you got a bad grade.
Correct. And how can it be a complete answer using this conditional, Karen? You can use the same structure that you have in the question. How can you answer completely using all the information there?
If you don't study for the test, you will improve the assignment.
Good. Remember, that word is not the best over there. You can say fail. you can fail. You will fail the course, or you can say you were talking about the scores or the grades, right? You can use the verb get or obtain, right? So my options could be, if you don't study for the test, you will fail it, or you will get bad grades. All right, those are going to be the options using your ideas, and it's great. All right, I believe that it's correct. Now, again, talking about the tenses, Karen, what tenses are we using for future conditional, according to this question?
The tense of the future and the simple present.
Exactly. Both are simple tenses, right? Simple future and simple present. But as Lucia did, we can also use the future with be going to, right? It depends on you, on the idea that you want to transmit, right? Great. Thank you, Karen. Good. That's the example, right? It's a very clear one and a very simple one. This is the introduction. And as you can see, we have 4 types. All right, but also Lucia was talking about them, and the last 2 are very interesting. I would say that the last 2 are the best ones that you can use, but it's worth knowing these 2 first as well, because those are the basic ones, right, to understand everything. So this is going to be for you, please, Micaela. Let's read the introduction.
Okay, introduction. There are at least 4 types of conditional clause, but today we'll take a look at only one of them, future conditional. Future conditional show us how one action in the present is going to have a consequence in the future.
Perfect. Thank you, Micaela. Just these 2 words, please. Remember that this is plural, right? How do you read this word one more time?
Clauses.
Clauses, exactly. And here this is third person. So how do you read these 2 words together?
Shows us.
Shows us, exactly. Just those are little details, but are very interesting and important when you read that fast. That connection is very, very important. Okay, so good. Shows us and clauses, right? That's it's very little, but it's very important when they are part of a sentence or any idea. So future conditional, it's a basic type of conditional clause, but it's something that we need to know by heart if we want to work with the 2 complex types that we got. Okay, so this is the formula. Remember that in the future part, as you can see over there, you can use either simple future or you can use future with be going to, as your partner Lucia was doing. It's up to you. Again, it depends on what. If you remember, on the context, if it's going to be about evidence, if it's going to be about opinion, if it's going to be about prediction, if it's going to be about plans. Sometimes both work. It doesn't matter what the condition is. Okay, here the context is not going to be as important. You can use both. All right, it doesn't matter. But if you know, and if you see that one of them works better for your example, use that one. Okay, we'll be going to. Let's take a look at the examples with you, please, Nazarena. Let's read the 3 examples, please.
Okay, teacher. If I stay here, I won't be able to finish my tasks. 2, if she still feels bad, she's going to go to the doctor. 3, if they don't complete assignments, they'll fail the course.
Thank you very much. There you go, right? And this is the verb we were using right at the beginning with you, Karen, fail. Right? To fail a course, to fail something because you didn't do good, right? When you don't do good at a course, when you don't do good, right? In a class, you might fail, right? And it happens to anything that needs skills to perform something. Okay, you can fail if you need skills to do something. So let's do the following. Again, this is very, very simple. I know that you're not going to have problems with this one, but of course, if you do have problems, just let me know. All right, because it's important that this is 100% clear to you so that we can get to more complex conditionals. So this being unit 3 means that we have a new file And I'm sharing that file, please, so that we can write the first set of examples. And later on, remember that we can work on the discussion, on the debate. We couldn't do it on Friday. We are going to do it today. All right, so please go to the chat. And over there, you're going to write your first set of examples. This is going to be simple. So please write only 2 examples, 2 complete examples. Here you only have affirmative ideas, but please write 1 affirmative idea in this conditional and 1 negative idea using the same structure. Okay, try to use different verbs, try to use some interesting vocabulary, but that's my only instruction. Let me know, please, if you have any questions, girls. No? All right, let's work on that then, please. 2 examples. I know this is, well, composed by 2 parts, but we're going to have 3 minutes. All right, I know, because it's not that complex. Let's have 3 minutes, please. And we check, right? Let me use the timer. Okay, so it starts now. Okay, we check in 1 minute, please. Okay, so let's take a look at that. And we can continue. Again, this is going to be very short, but after this one, we're going to have our activity. And I believe that we are even going to finish our debate before the due time. so that we can have an introduction to the next lesson. All right, but let's see first if you don't have any problems with this, let's say, structure by taking a look at your examples. Please, let's start with you, Karen. Let's read your 2 examples, please.
Okay, teacher, if you go to your grandmother's house, you will look forward to seeing her. If she does not sing in the concert, she won't show her talent.
Thank you very much, Karen. Good. So let me stop actually this one. Then the first part, well, in both cases, we're starting with this with a comma in the middle, right? Which is the best option over here. So if you go to your grandmother's house, you will look forward to seeing her. All right. Yes. Again, this is like even cause and effect, right? And it's almost immediately and almost for sure that it's going to happen. So good. She does not sing, in the concert. She won't show her talent. Good. In this one, just because of this one. All right. As you can see, I'm using Grammarly because I think it's better than just Google Docs. All right. But we're going to use just one L over there. I don't have any observations there, Karen. I don't know if you have any questions before going to the next part.
No, teacher.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Michaela, let's continue working with you, please.
Okay, number 1, if we don't finish the inventory today, we are going to get a menu. And 2, if Fred is still a good student, he could win a scholarship.
Thank you very much, Michaela. Great. And here you're doing something interesting that we didn't mention yet. But in future conditionals, you can also work with modals because they refer to future as well, right? You can work with may, might, could, can, should, etc. Right? The best option is always going to be will. As you're going to see here, one of the corrections I'm sure here is going to be related to the tense. But as I told you one more time, sometimes you don't need to be demanding. The best option is going to be to choose whatever tense you feel more comfortable with. Later on, you're going to try to be more precise regarding the tense that you can use. All right, but here, for example, if you take a look at that one, they are going to suggest to use will. All right, but again, we can keep that one. We are not going to look for precision in the sense for what verb we should be using. And again, here they want you to use will because this is not as precise. This is not giving you idea of a plan. This is just giving an idea of a future consequence. All right, but again, you can keep that one. If you want to be more precise, you can change it to will. That's it, Michaela. Again, if you're going to have any questions, you're going to let me know. All right. We're going to continue with you, please, Nazarena. Let's continue with your examples.
Okay, teacher. If the boss change his mind about our hours of work, we'll be more efficient team working together. The company will hire more professional people this summer if the human resources area doesn't make mistakes.
Thank you very much, Nazarena. I believe that here the 2 things that are underlined are referred to the use of adjectives and articles. All right. So, for example, here the boss, if the boss changes his mind about our work hours, all right, that's going to be better. Work hours, or there are other alternatives, but that can be the best one. Remember, adjectives always before nouns. Will be more efficient team working together. But remember, team is one entity, so it's a team. So it's a more efficient team. All right. So there you need, let's say it's an article, okay, an indefinite article, a more efficient team working. There are other alternatives, but I think those fit better in your case, in Nazarena. And in the case of the second one, it's working good. Just this one with you, you are working with inversion. Remember that if you work with inversion, if you have if in the middle, it means that you don't need a comma over there, and you're going to use just lowercase letter.
Okay.
Just that one, and I don't know if you have any questions about those, well, recommendations.
Sorry, teacher. In the part that I said I will be more efficient team working together, so must be is better if I put will be
Ah,
a
that
team
one.
efficient, a
No,
team more
and
efficient.
more. This one, just the article, a more
Was
efficient team.
and
Because
in
it's
the
always
okay work and the first one is our work hours, right?
work hours.
Okay.
Exactly. It's always going to be better to organize in the English idea with the adjective before and then the noun. And here's the
Okay.
same. If you realize, it's the same. More efficient team. This is an adjective and this is an adverb. So the order is perfect. You're needing just a because team is countable, right? One team, two teams, three teams.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anything that is countable needs that. Okay, just that one. Thank you, Nasa.
Thank you.
Good. Lucia, let's follow this up with you, please.
All right. If the dog finishes his food, he will go to the park. If you visit the doctor, you are not going to buy that medicine.
Thank you very much, Lucia. So again, I think it's working great. And one more time, what happens in number 2 as it happened in number 1 with Michaela, it's about precision. If you want to be very precise with conditional, the best option is always going to be will. It can be going to if we feel that we have like a plan over there or like real evidence showing us that that is going to happen. All right. If not the best option, it is always going to be will. But in these cases, again, if you know that your option with be going to is the best because you have knowledge of that and you're not writing that knowledge because it's just an example, then it doesn't matter. That's why here I'm not making those corrections with be going to because it can be possible. Just be sure, in your case, Lucia and Michaela, that if you use be going to, you can have a good context, a very big context and good one that feels and shows that it is about evidence. Because remember, right, we use be going to with evidence and with plans, right? So predictions with evidence and plans, specific plans for the future. So if you have that one that is stated in your conditional form, then be going to can be the best idea. If not, will by again by a rule it is going to be the predilect over here. All right, but again, it's not incorrect. It's just a missing information that can be compensated in a different way. That's it, in your case, Lucia, just that comment to make sure that you can change the tense to will. But I don't know if you have any other questions or any other doubts. Let me know, please, if you do.
No, teacher, is clear. Thank you so much.
Good. No, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Let's keep working. All right. In the next part, we have the same, exactly the same, but we are working with inversion. One of you already did it. I believe that it was you and Nazarena. But in case you didn't do it, the rest of you, let's do it now, please. But one more time, because we want to practice different verbs and so on, I'm going to give you 3 more minutes to write 2 more examples, but follow this order. If you already work with this order, try to work in the opposite way, okay? Invert it in the other way. But remember that if you have if in the middle, you don't need comma, right? In the previous order, you needed a comma. If, simple present, comma, future. But here, you don't need it. Future, if, simple present. All right, so let's do it, please. 3 more minutes for this one. Remember, try to use different verbs, try to use different situations to play around with the words, and we take a look at your examples. All right, so see you in 3 minutes. Okay, we're checking one more minute, please. Okay, so we are there. Let's check your new examples. Then we see some variations. I already mentioned this one, right? That you can use some other, let's say, models. But this is not something we're going to practice. It's something just for you to know. And with that, the first lesson is done. Again, it's very simple. That's why we need to take advantage to practice other skills. But let's take a look then at your over here examples. I believe that you have that one. You're finishing. Good. I believe that you're ready. So I'm going to start this time with you, Micaela. Let's read your examples, please.
Okay, Maria is going to the supplier workshop. I am not sure about the workshop. If he doesn't give us the materials, Sarah will do a master's degree if she gets that new job.
Okay. Thank you very much, Micaela. Good. Now, I only have one observation here, and it depends what you want to say here, but it's working good because a workshop it's referred to many different things, and you can have a supplier over there to give you many different products or goods. All right. But mainly here, the problem is going to be related to this one. And as you can see, actually, it's not a problem because you can also use the present continuous, right? But in this case, you are not using the future would be going to, and you're not using will. Here you're using the present continuous, right? And again, it's good, but just for the practice, how do you change this idea to future will be going to or future with will, Micaela? This part.
Maybe Maria will go to the supplier workshop.
Exactly, or is going to go, right? So you add another verb if you want to use the verb with be going to, or you change it to will. Okay, just that. In the first part, that's the only thing. Then good. And here, it's just that you always say master's degree. All right, so she will do a master's degree if she gets that new job. All right, so if you only say master degree, it's not going to be the best option. That's the only correction over there in Micaela. If you have any questions, again, you are going to let me know. Now, I'm going with you up here. Karen, please, let's read your examples.
Okay, you will go over the results of the test if you come early. He will look into the historic paper if he does not present in his assignment.
Good, good. The second one as a consequence of not doing that. All right. You will go over the results of the test if you come early, and he will look into the historic paper, right, if he does not present his assignment. All right. When you say, I just want to verify this one, what do you mean when you use this phrasal verb to look into? How can you explain that action?
Is when you search information or investigate something.
Yes, it's closer to investigation, right? To investigate something. Okay, good. Also can be related to look up, but here I think you're referring to the idea of investigate about that historic paper, so it's working great. Good, I have no observations, Kat. If you're going to have questions, let me know, all right? But it's working very good.
Thank you, teacher.
Great, no, you're welcome. Nazarena, let's continue with you, please. You have 2 ideas over there. Let's read your examples, please.
Okay, teacher. My friend will dress up like a fairy if she goes to the Halloween party this weekend. The last one is he is going to Miami this month if he doesn't have to work for some days that he does on vacation.
Thank you very much, Nazarena. Again, the only observation here, and it's not because it's incorrect. Again, one more time, as you can see, you don't have any corrections because you also use the present continuous as future, right? The present continuous is also future, right? I'm traveling next week. That's correct. Okay, it is correct. But if I ask you to change this in number 4, he's going to Miami is present continuous. How do you change that to future? To the 2 types of future, Nazarena?
He will go to Miami.
Correct. He will go to Miami. Or how do
He's
you
going to go Miami.
to Miami also, right? Good.
Going to go
He
to
will
Miami.
go to Miami, or he is going to go
yeah.
to Miami, right? Both are correct. Even
Yeah.
this is also correct, Nazarena. It's just that it's a different tense that we're not practicing now, but it is also correct. Okay, it's just for you to know that those are going to be then 3 different ways of using future. Okay, present continuous, be going to, and will. The 3 of them are for future, and the 3 of them are going to be correct if you use them in the correct context. All right?
Okay, teacher.
Good, great. No, thank you, Nazarena. It's good if you don't have any questions. That's it on my side. Here, just remember, when you have these holidays or important dates that you remember, they have to be with capital letter. Just that. All right, that's the only thing we're going to do over there. Good. Now we can finish with you, please, Lucia.
Okay, Natalia won't read the poem if the institution doesn't invite her, and the baby will cry if she stays awake until 2 a.m.
Okay, good. Yes, they go straight to the point and they work very good with everything and the tenses. I have no observations again. I don't know if you have any questions or doubts, Lucia.
It's just a question, teacher.
Yeah.
In this case, for this conditional, in both of the clauses, we can use negative also, right? Like in my first example.
Exactly. You can mix. One can be affirmative, the other one negative. Both can be negative. Both can be affirmative. The first one affirmative, negative. So you can play around with the words. As long as your idea makes sense, it is going to be correct. But using affirmative or negative in any of the clauses, it is going to be correct grammatically speaking, Lucia. So it is good.
Okay, thank you.
Good. No, you're welcome. And that's it. All right. Again, as I told you, this is something that you knew. I know that you practiced this before and you have knowledge about it. So this was mainly review and being sure that you understand those rules for punctuation mainly and the tenses that you have to use. So let's go please to our practice then. Remember that now we are going to work on the debates that we had to work on Friday, but we couldn't because of the time. That is this one. It has the exact all right instructions, but I added one more thing for this debate, and we have one more question that it's a different question, right, than the one that we chose before. So as you can see here, for example, the question about marijuana is not here, but you had the other 3 questions plus one extra question that I added. All right, so once again, first, let's choose what question we're going to talk about. And then we, let me open this. And then we start with the division of the groups. Again, there are 4 of us, so it's going to be possible. So let's start, please. Again, you're going to vote. You only need to raise your hand. If you do it, I know that you agree with that topic. All right, so please, the first one is this. Should there be a restriction on how many children, on how many children a family can have? So please raise your hand if you agree with that one. Okay, good. It seems that it's the majority, but just in case, okay, I think it's all of you. Good. So I don't know if we're going to go to the other ones. I believe that we're going to directly work on that one. Okay, the other ones are also very interesting, but let's go straight to the point so we have the time to practice. So this is the question then, all right? Should there be a restriction on how many children a family can have? All of you want this one, so let's work on that one. Let's divide then now with, give me 1 second. Word wall. Oh, this is the one. I'm going to divide the groups one more time. I know it's just 4 of you, but I wanted to be just with someone randomly. I think it's better. The rules are the same. You're going to have a time. You're going to read now the only thing I added. You're going to have a time to look for information. But besides doing that, you are going to also, let me change this to English. You are going to prepare a very short presentation. That actually is not a presentation itself, but you're going to prepare something to show the main points that you're describing so that the other group can use that as a reference as you are defending your position. All right, so again, you're going to do some research, you're going to find interesting ideas, but now you are going to show real information. It can be citation, it can be statistics, or it can be simply a summary of the main points that you got to encounter as you were looking for that information. Okay, so let's see, please, the ones that are going to be part of group 1. Okay, one of them is going to be you, Micaela. Again, I'm going to write it down so that, we have that ready. And we can also send the links because the links are here. So group 1 is 4, right? So Micaela, you're going to be 4. And let's see who your partner is going to be. Okay, then Lucia, then you are Micaela's partner. Okay, it means that both of you, Karen and Nazarena, you're going to work together and you're going to be against it. All right, I know that sometimes it's very hard to have a position that is not the one you want to have. I don't know which one is going to be the case for you girls, but it's hard. But the idea here again, is try to organize your ideas in the best way possible and try to show something that it's interesting to have a debate or at least to exchange ideas. Okay, that's the main thing we want to do, to exchange ideas. So Micaela, Lucia, you are 4, and Karen and Serena, all right, you are against. So one more time, I am sending the links. They are...
Professor, sorry, before I have 2 questions. The first
Yes.
one is for how many time we're going to talk? 10 minutes, sorry, or 5 minutes per person?
Yes, I'm going to give you that information now, but it's going to be very similar to what we did. At the beginning, you're going to present your ideas first only in 1 minute. Then according to the time we see that we have left, you're going to be able to add 1 or 2 more minutes, okay? But first, the very first presentation of both members of the group, it is only going to be 1 minute each, all right, as we did in the previous presentation or in the previous debate.
Thank you, Professor. And also you say something about the information that we should present in this debate. So we have to do like something like a PowerPoint, or could we just like reading or something, some facts?
No, this time you need to show something. Yes, you can work on a PowerPoint. Actually, as you're going to read here, give me please 1 second. I believe that I put it here. Yes, it says prepare a short PowerPoint presentation to show the most important ideas you've got as a group. Okay, and that's something that both groups have to do. But of course, it's not always a PowerPoint presentation. If you want, even you can use just a Word document. But the idea is that information is clear, that is readable, okay, that we can read that without any problems, and that summarizes very well the main ideas that you as a group or well as a couple are going to develop. All right, but yes, you need this time of presentation, not only saying the things, you have to show something as you are explaining your information. All right.
All right. Thank you, Professor.
Good. No, you're welcome. So I believe that with that, everything is clear because those are actually the things I was going to mention. Because actually, again, it's the same. It's exactly the same. You know how this is going to work. First, you are going to meet, right? You're going to meet in the rooms that I created for you. All right, it's in Google Meet. You go there one more time. You're going to be there for at least 10 minutes, perhaps a little bit more, but 10 minutes, I think it's going to be good for you to do some research and to decide what is the information that you're going to show in your presentation or in any document that you're going to show. Okay, so again, look for ideas to support. In your case, Micaela and Lucia, you are four, so look for anything that can give an affirmative answer to should there be a restriction on how many children a family can have. So you have to say yes, right? So you need to look for information, statistics, okay? And then the strongest thing that you can show is statistics or articles. Okay, so try to go for it. Try to show some statistics or anything that can support the idea of, yes, there should be a restriction because, I don't know, right? Our planet is going like this, the statistics shows this and that, and many people, right, don't care about or they don't take care of their children. I don't know, right? You can find interesting information. You are for, organize your group, prepare a PowerPoint presentation or any presentation. It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint necessarily, and be ready to defend your ideas. The same for you girls, Karen and Nazarena. You do some research, but negative, right? You should say, no, there shouldn't be a restriction on how many children a family can have because of many reasons, and you describe those reasons. And if you have statistics, again, great. 10 minutes one more time, please. 5 to 10 minutes to have the debate. Again, first it's only going to be 1 minute, right? 1 minute for each member. It means 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes over there. But then I'm going to give you 1 more minute. And if we see that we can keep going at least 1 more time, you're going to have an extra minute to give the final elements over there. Okay, general feedback, and that's it. The elements that you have over here are the same. I am not going to participate. Okay, so what I'm telling you now, and if you have any questions, you have to ask me now, because later on I am just going to be in the meeting rooms listening to what you're saying, or well, taking a look at how you're organizing yourselves. That's going to be my only role, and then giving you the time and controlling the time. All right, so do you have any final questions before starting with the activity? Let me know, please. All right, so let's do it then, please. Remember, you can stay here or you can leave for a moment. Go to your meeting rooms. I'm going to go there also to, well, all right, to admit your request. So see you there and start working, please. As soon as you get into the meeting room with your partner, start organizing yourselves. All right, so be ready, please, girls. You should be finishing the last details. I mean, if you're still writing the last ideas, try to write them out and try to have that ready so that you can show and you can share your screen as you are talking about the information that you found. All right, of course, it can be about the things that you were seeing, but let's be here, please. As soon as I see that you're here with me, we are going to start with the debate. All right, so it should be done. I want to verify that you're here with me. So, Karen, let me know if you're there, please, if you're ready more or less to have the debate. Not yet, perhaps. What about you, Lucia? Are you there? Let me know, please.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. And what about you, Michaela? Are you there?
I am here, teacher.
Okay, thank you. And Nazarena, let me know if you are there, please.
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Yes, teacher. I'm
You are
here.
here both. Okay, good. Karen and Nazarena, thank you. So let's do it, please. As we did before, the group that is 4 is going to start today's, let's say, debate. Remember that if you are 4, it means that you say yes. There should be a restriction on how many children a family can have. All right, it means that Lucia and Michaela, you are going to start. All right, please, this time you are going to decide which one is going to be the first one and the second one. But remember, please, that you only have 1 minute to try to give the course, right, the general ideas on your research and on the information that you have. Okay, so 1 minute Lucia, 1 minute Michaela, and then it's going to be the same for Karen and Nazarena, but you decide which one is going to be the first. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You can share yours now. So please, the one that is going to share the screen, you can do it, and you tell me who the first person is going to be.
Professor in our group, Michaela is going to start and then me.
Good, very good. Let's do it in that way, please. You tell me when you're ready, then Michaela. I'm going to be with the timer, and I'm going to be taking notes of everything. And also remember that the other group, the one that is against, has to also take some notes because you need to use this information to try to go against it, right? So I see the presentation. I can see that very well. You tell me, Michaela, and I start the timer. Remember, you only have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, teacher. Should there be a restriction of how many children a family can have? Families with fewer resources are likely to have more children. Normally, they don't have the tools or the skills like education, money, or time to make a correctly planned a a plan to have a family, and this situation can develop a loop that limit their social, economic, or professional or personal development. According to data from the INE as of 2016, women with higher academic education have fewer children on average and consequently a better socioeconomic situation. Women with more education normally have like two child, but women with poor education from rural uh, rural zones and have like 6 or more childs. Well, our main point here is
After that part, please, Michaela, we're going to complement. All right, you have my main point over there, but let's keep it there, please. We're going to go now with your partner, and we're also going to have 1 minute. And again, if there's something that, again, sorry for cutting you up, if there's something that you couldn't mention, please save that information, and in the extra minute I'm going to give you, you can finish complementing that idea. All right, so let's continue with you, please, Lucia. Tell me that you're ready, and I'm going to tell you where I start the timer.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good.
Okay, as my colleague was telling us, we have to highlight the main points of this side. That yeah, we are agreed with that restriction because we have to focus as a population according to the healthcare system, according to the issue of the unemployment, and the big levels of poverty that we have. Also, we have to analyze that the countries with more levels of population, most of them have a poverty levels that forbid or don't give a good conditions for children, a good condition for excellent healthcare systems. Also, we have to see that behind this problem, there is a big problem that it's another issue for the states. That's why that policy is important, like the children marriage, the sexual education, and also the only way that we can control is according to taxes.
Great, up to that part. Thank you very much, Lucia. Good. So we have that, all right? Again, sometimes it's very hard to summarize everything. I know there's a lot of information, but we have your side, the main ideas, at least, Lucia and Micaela. Now we're going to go with you, Karen and Nazarena. You tell me who is going to be the one that is going to share the screen. You can do it. And again, the one that is going to start, just tell me that you're ready, and I start with a timer. Also, please, it's a good idea that you have a timer yourself. Try to use a timer so that you see that you are about to get to the first minute, and you can stop there. All right, so who is it going to be the first one? Let me know, please.
Teacher, I will be the first one. Okay,
good. Go ahead then, please, Nazarena. You have 1 minute starting now.
Okay. Against of restriction of how many children have, why we are against. Well, we have some points here. The first point, it depends on each couple. I think that the parents can decide how many children have, because a lot of parents have some plan for the children, and they trying to plan how many children have and what one they do with their children, or what kind of education they want to give them. Also, second is we need a productive population and new kinds of mindset. This is very important because we don't want only adult population, we need new kind of knowledge in some years.
Good, great. Up to that part, very good. Thank you, Nazarena. And the same now for you, please, Karen. Let's go with you. And you tell me that you're ready, please, Karen, and I start.
Okay, teacher, I'm ready.
Good. Go ahead, please.
As my partner is saying, the third point is the quality of life of children not born in our country is something that one of the first reason that we have is that we cannot deny the decision about how many children you can have or not. Is like choose how can live or die. So then we need a new generations to help us to solve a lot of problems in our world. We have a lot of problems like, for example, the contamination problems in between countries. Perhaps we can avoid the reason that a lot of families have the possibility to choose how many children they would like to have.
Great, up to that part. Thank you very much. Now, you know you're going to have extra time, right? Now, this is what we're going to do. As we did before, we have more time this time, but I'm going to give each group 1 more minute. And in this case, I'm going to take advantage that you're still with your presentation, girls, so that perhaps Lucia and no, sorry, it was Lucia and Micaela, you were a group. You can take notes on what the girls are showing now. You can take that information into account. And in the 1 minute that I'm going to give you now, one more time, girls, again, Lucia and Micaela, you can continue talking about the things that you couldn't in the first minute, or you are going to perhaps try to say why the girls' points here, I mean Karen's and Nazarena's, are not good and you believe that they are not showing important information. All right, so I'm going to give you then that for you. And again, you decide who can start 1 more time, Lucia and Micaela.
Can I start?
Okay, go ahead, please. Also 1 minute, please. If we get to have more time, we're going to use more time. But 1 more time, please, 1 minute to say whatever information you want, Micaela. Okay, so you can start now, please.
Okay, thank you, teacher. Well, Nazarena was talking about product population and planification, but I think this is our main point, because when the families don't have like a planification for how many children they are going to have, they have like limit of the opportunities, because for example, the women that have like 6 or more children don't have the time for study or for work. And the idea is like give support and give like education to all the people that don't have the skill to make a planification for their family.
Good, perfect. Thank you very much, Micaela. Great. Let's try to complement that one, or again, you can mention one of the points that the girls said, Lucia. So let's start, please. You have 1 minute and you can complement the ideas, or again, you can reply to your partners. So let me know when you're ready, please.
I'm ready.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. When we talk about policies, or when we talk about that kind of measures that states do, we have to think not in individuals, we have to think in an international community. So it's measures that states have to do. So if a state is something that they're going to do, we have to think not only about the decisions of the couples. I mean, we have to think in the decisions for people or for family from different economic levels. Another thing that is important to say is that when we talk about quality life of children, yeah, you also mentioned about the global, the climate global emerging that nowadays we are living. And according to the situation and according to the economic crisis around the world, we are not in the good conditions to promote the new the constantly growing of more population. And the examples are like China and India.
Good. Thank you very much, Lucia. Great. There you go. Good. Again, we have very interesting things to mention over there as a summary. But first, we're going to go one more time with Karen and Nazarena so that they can reply to that one. And then perhaps again, we're going to see the time. I'm going to ask just one or two questions. But let's go with you, please, girls, Karen and Nazarena. Who wants to start with this next part? Again, you can complement the ideas that you couldn't mention before, or you can reply to what, well, your partner said. So what do you say, Karen Nazarena? Who wants to start once again?
I can, teacher.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead then, please, Nazarena. You have 1 minute, and you can start now.
Okay, so when you're restricted from something, you want to do it more. So I think that is something very important for all people in every country. And also, well, when you say that you can restrain to people, or you could restrain people that have more resources, economies, but you can make that because can be like a racines. If you said, okay, you will you only can have 3 kids, and other family that have less economy in her family can be less than 3. So I think that it's important know about that. And also yes, only that, teacher.
Great. Thank you very much, Nazarena. Good. I know there might be some ideas. I know that you're thinking of many things, but just because of the time, all right? Later on, again, if we have the time, we're going to say some extra things. But so far, to work with this time, we need to have them 1 minute. Thank you, Nazarena. So I'm going with you, Karen, one more time. You tell me that you're ready. Let me know, please, if you're ready first, Karen.
Yeah, okay, teacher, I'm ready.
Good. So you can start now, please.
Okay, as my partners say that, for example, in countries like Japan or China, these countries have a lot of population. It's right, but the governments of these countries are worried because the population in they have older population, older people, and year per year, the young population, the young people are less. So we need young people to do a lot of works like older people can do it. So it's important to let the people have children. It sounds wrong, sounds bad, but it's something that we need now, especially in these type of countries that are that these countries are like I don't know how to say that, countries that move the world, maybe.
Okay, good. Thank you, Karen. Great, great. I think that last element was very, very important because it shows a real fact, right? And real information about the idea of why it's a good idea to have children. All right, so good. Now, again, I'm going to ask you something, and both of the groups can answer back. I don't have a lot of notes because I think it was good and I was focusing on some other information, but I'm just going to give like general ideas, all right? Don't forget about this. I know that you know that it's children, right? But many of you, from time to time, you were saying, right, children's, right, or child's, right? So just be careful with that one. Remember, it's only children, right? Many children, they have children, the children that they have, the amount or the number of children they have, right? So only children. Only if you're going to use possessive, you can say children, right? For example, the children's interest, right? Because that's possession. Then be careful with this word. It's going to be we, right? Women, right? If you say woman, that's singular. To make it plural, women. All right. Consequently. Then I read this one, but because of the context, it didn't seem to be the best idea to use this word. Only the correct plan or the correctly chosen plan. So if you have an action after correctly and before plan, could be, all right, because that's going to be an adverb. But if you have a plan as it felt it was an adverb, or just a noun, sorry, it's not going to be the best idea. If you were using plan as a verb, then it is going to be good, right? To correctly plan. So if you say to correctly plan, or if plan is working as a verb, it is also going to be good, all right? But in case it was not a verb, then you need another verb to use this adjective. Then you said rural zones, right? But it's better if you say just rural areas, okay? In rural areas. And it's like deciding, here you can use ing, all right, gerund. It's like deciding who can live or die. Okay, we're going to use the idea of die. Or you can say directly, it's like deciding who lives and who dies, right? Like restricting if you can or you cannot have a specific number of children, right, according to your planning. So I believe that, of course, right, it's always like that. An answer is going to be more logical and it's going to be easier to defend more some of those ideas. I know, but there is always something to say about both. And I think that you did. So I'm going to ask you this type of question. So it's going to be the opposite type of question for the groups. So you were for the idea of restricting Nazarena and Micaela. All right. So you say, yes, we should restrict. So a question for you both. Let's start with you, please. Micaela, in what type of situation do you believe that it's not a good idea to restrict? All right. So I'm giving you the opposite idea. It's not a good idea to restrict the number of children that people could have. What type of context or situation do you think that can make that logical in your case?
Well, maybe when the families cannot have children, and well, they have like involuntary abortion, maybe. Well, I understand that limit the children's implicate to make like medical intervention in the women's, but maybe when the couple have a difficult to have children, we can consider a exception.
Thank you very much, Michaela. Good. Again, those words that you were doubting, you can say the word like implicates, right? Also involves, right? Than doing this involves this and that, all right? It's going to be better to say involve over there. And yes, to consider it, right? So they can make a consideration, they can considerate, right, the idea of doing something different, right? Okay, good. That's one. The other one, and this is for you, Lucia, again, very similar. I want you to have now the opposite again, position that you were having. In your case, right, you said, yes, there should be a restriction. So the same question, which one do you think it's a good exception that can say, for example, or valid to say that there shouldn't be a restriction in that case, Lucia? What do you say?
In areas or in regions or continents that, for example, the majority of the people are old. For example, in Europe, like the other group mentioned, that indeed it's important to have new generations, young people, and in that kind of countries are really important to you cannot put restrictions to how many child you are going to do. But also I think, and I think it's also a topic that we didn't mention in the both sides, is that according also or respecting the plans, the life plans, but not only in the individual view, I mean in the collective view. No, could be what happened if we talk about indigenous people that have a different conception, or in a collective side or in a collective view different than a typical couple from the city. No, so the different plans or lifestyles are very different. But according, or be very brief, according your question is that in continents that the most of the population are old, of course we cannot have that kind of restrictions.
Good. Thank you very much, Lucia. Again, that's interesting. So you're always going to the idea, right, of the collective way of thinking. And that's interesting, right? You're not going to say that it would be a good idea if the parents decide to do it, right? It's more like if there's culture, if there's a society, a collective, or something like a real there, right? Showing that it's important to perhaps not to restrict the number of children that you might have, or to restrict it, right? It should depend on what reality shows you, right, and what society needs. So I believe that that's great. Thank you, Sia. I'm going to ask now the same to your partners, but in the opposite way. So again, we're using some extra time, but Nazarena, this is for you. It's going to be like the opposite way. So in what cases do you believe that it's a good idea to restrict the number of children that parents can have in a setting? What do you think it's a good reason to restrict it?
I think that is a good idea to restrict first one for the quality of the life that you are giving to your children, because how some fellow was saying is that no many people knows how educate a children or have a really quality of life. So I think that is a really important thing, that we have to know, that we don't concentrate only in what kind of restriction you can give them. If not, we have to educate to the people on how have children with the best condition to giving them the best quality of life. So as a result, we can have a good education for our children. That is the best important thing for our countries, for every country of the world, is have a real good kid with good education and a very well healthy.
Great. Thank you very much, Cesar. And that's really interesting, right? So you're focusing on the idea of the quality of life that parents can give to children, right? So at the end, it doesn't matter perhaps how many they are going to have, as long as they know how to educate them, as long as they're going to be a part of society, right? That is going to be, I don't know, contributing, that is going to be producing, right, positive things to it. And that's something that perhaps we cannot deny, right? But again, it's really interesting, the idea of focusing on education and focusing on the idea of the quality of life that they can get or receive from their parents, right? And to do that, of course, also parents need to be educated and they need to be, right, aware and conscious of what's happening. So that's really interesting again. And I'm going to go with you to finish, Karen, the same question. What do you think it's a good reason or a good situation in which it is a good idea to restrict the number of children parents can have? What do you say?
Well, for me, it's depend of the country. Even I think that it depends of the continent. For example, Africa has a lot of population, and the quality of life is so low. So this is one reason that a restriction about how many children you can have or not. It's a restriction that we need to, well, I don't know if we need to apply, but for me, it's a reason. In countries that don't have the possibility to give a child or a newborn, maybe it's the word.
Yeah, that's a good word, that one.
Okay, a newborn to have a good quality of life. So for me, it's depend the country, it's depend the government, the education, and also, as Lucia was saying, is depend the community.
Great, thank you, Karen. Yes, we're again right in that part of the quality of life, and yeah, I agree. Right, it depends very much on the region, the country, the culture, right? So many factors that can affect our response. So yes, in your presentations, I think you were able to show a little bit of that, and it was very good. And I know that perhaps it was harder to defend the idea of, yes, right, we should restrict it because of this and that, or perhaps even the idea of not restricting. I'm thinking about it because it's about freedom, right? And it's about freely deciding what you want to do with your body or what you want to do. But also, as you were saying, many of you, you cannot only think, and Lucia put a lot of emphasis, just to finish now, right, on the idea of not basing the idea on individual right and personal decisions rather than what society needs, right, what the world needs. So it's a collective need and not just an individual desire that has to be bigger at the end. Right, so good. I know these are complex topics, but the idea again is that you feel free to speak up, that you feel free to express your ideas, that you play with this vocabulary. I know that perhaps there were some words that were tricky for you, but the idea is that you get used to using them, even though you don't know very well perhaps the meaning of all the words that you might have used. I know that most of them, yes, but if you are using new words, that's the idea, all right? You need to try to use them, you need to try to understand them and make it part of your sentences. And if they are going to be incorrect, again, I'm going to let you know. But on my side, again, that's going to be it for now. I don't know if you have any final questions before finishing. Remember that tomorrow we have our usual conversation, but also one more time, the reminder is that this Thursday we don't have a conversation, and to replace that one we will have the conversation on Wednesday, but not this one, right? The following Wednesday, that it's going to be November the 2nd. That's it. Let me know please if you have any questions before finishing now.
Teacher, with the next speaking, not tomorrow, we need to mark in the, like, we are going to pass the class normally.
Yes, please. You just go there and you are going to schedule the time for Thursday as if you would have, right, the conversation with me. But instead of join on Thursday, you're going to join on Wednesday with the same link and the schedule that you chose over there.
Okay.
All right. Good, very good. So that's it again. The poll is there for you. Try to answer, please, those questions before leaving. And one more time, thanks for being here. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow in your conversations, girls.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye,
Have a good night
teacher.
too. Bye, girls.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye bye.
Sorry,
Bye.
teacher, what conversation? It's only the same call tomorrow, right?
Yes, exactly. The
okay.
usual 15-minute calls that we have to practice speaking. Just that.
Okay. Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye.